So Piers Morgan has a new show. It's called Piers Morgan Uncensored. I think it's on whatever Rupert Murdoch's new outlet is. Is it Fox Nation? I don't know. I don't know the specifics. I don't really care. But, this stumbled across my radar, and I took a look. I have to share this with you. I'll let him do the talking, and I'll just do the responding. But here's his Piers Morgan, my mission statement. So he's like, this is what my show is all about. Let's watch, and we'll break it down as we go along.
Welcome to viewers around the world. I'm Piers Morgan, and I'm uncensored.
You're uncensored. Oh, you're a raw truth teller, bro. Look, you could tell he's loving this. I don't even care what you think, bro. I'm uncensored. I'm gonna keep it real. Brave, brave man, Piers.
As Nelson Mandela might have said, it's been a long walk to freedom of speech. But now I'm back with a nightly forum for fabulous guests, fearless debate, and yes, some fun. In fact, just before we came on air tonight, I received a wonderfully sincere good luck message from the world's funniest man.
The producers of Piers Morgan's new show contacted me and asked me if I'd like to be a guest. I said, definitely not. They said, would you mind doing a quick video wishing him luck? I said, do I have to mean it? They said, no. I said, good luck.
But first, I want to...
Okay, I'll give Ricky Gervais points for that one. That was good. I enjoyed that.
Issue an urgent trigger warning. For all ultra-sensitive, permanently offended, woke snowflakes who may have accidentally tuned in tonight, you're not going to enjoy this show. In fact, it's going to really annoy you. It may even provoke trauma, because I'm going to be constantly celebrating the one thing you can't abide, free speech. And that's real free speech, not your kind of free speech, where only your opinions are allowed, and anyone with a different opinion has to be shamed, abused, and cancelled.
Okay, you're going to notice this as he goes along. He keeps going back and forth between, I'm all about free speech, I'm all about hearing ideas that I don't agree with, and now let me proceed to shame everybody who doesn't agree with me. So at the same time, he's saying, the problem with the woke left is that they shame people. He then, in the next sentence, is like, and I'm going to shame people. Oh, I mean, look, the thing that gets under my skin is, this is so tired. It's so stale. It's so old. This is 2014 YouTube-style stuff. I'm against cancel culture. I'm against wokeness. I'm against the mob. I'm in favor of free speech. And I'm the last brave truth teller on the world. No, you're the 17,412th person to have these opinions. You're not this isn't speaking truth to power. This is a very, very common belief. This is a very common belief. I'm a staunch free speech defender. I don't think that makes me some sort of hero. I don't think that makes me some iconoclast speaking truth to power. All this is just feeding the culture war machine day in and day out and day in and day out. Now notice in the course of this rant, how many times does Piers Morgan bring up war? How many times does he bring up wages or unions or corruption or any of the real issues that impact us massively on a day-to-day basis? Count the number of times he brings that stuff up. And count how much culture war posturing this is, as I'm the one brave truth teller left on this earth.
Careers and reputations destroyed. No, the free speech is supposed to be the bedrock of any real democratic society. The kind where it's okay to disagree. It's all right to respect and tolerate each other's views. It's even okay to go for a beer with someone you've just spent a whole hour arguing with about the burning issues of the day.
Now, does Piers Morgan seem like a guy who would go have a beer with somebody who he's argued with for an hour? Certainly doesn't look like that to me. Certainly doesn't look like that to me at all. Again, shaming people who disagree as he bemoans people who shame people who disagree. And you're going to get a perfect example of this in just a second. I need to shut up so you can see the quotes he puts up, because it's astounding.
Many great people have said many great things about free speech. So Winston Churchill said some people's idea of free speech is that they are free to say what they like, but if anyone says anything back, that is an outrage. President George Washington said if freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. But my all-time favourite came from the brilliantly fearless, provocative and much missed polemicist Christopher Hitchens, who said, my own opinion's enough for me. Anyone who disagrees with this can pick a number, get in line and kiss my ass.
Okay, that last quote from Christopher Hitchens contradicts the other quotes. You can't say, like, hey, man, the reason why free speech is so important is that we need a dialogue, we need to exchange ideas, we need to let the best ideas win, we need an open marketplace where ideas can float freely and nobody censors anybody. And then he gets to the last quote, my own opinion is enough for me. Wait, I thought you wanted the dialogue and you wanted the open discourse. Anyone who disagrees with this can pick a number, get in line, and kiss my ass. Okay, that's the mindset of the social justice warriors who censor people. That's the mindset. I know I'm right. I don't need to hear anything else. Kiss my ass if you don't agree. How do you not understand the fundamental contradiction at the heart of that? Is he an idiot? I think Piers Morgan might be an idiot. It's astonishing to me he doesn't see the contradiction there. That is an obvious contradiction. My own opinion is enough for me. Anyone who disagrees with this can pick a number, get in line, and kiss my ass. That is every single woke mob, cancel culture brigade in human history. We are so sure that we are right. I don't need to hear it. I don't need to hear your response. I don't need to hear your perspective. I don't need to hear your opinion. So you can't say, I'm all for free speech and the free exchange of ideas, and then on the second hand, fuck your ideas. This is what gets under my skin so much about this Piers Morgan thing. He portrays himself as the open-minded, crusader for truth, the one last brave iconoclast, while at the same time having this tone and this implication of like, I'm massively closed-minded, and if you disagree with me, you can go fuck yourself. Oh my God. Did we really need this 17,000th show of like, the same culture war tripe over and over and over? It's so amazing. By the way, if you were really questioning power, you wouldn't be allowed on a Rupert Murdoch outlet. You have to be power-serving to be on a Rupert Murdoch outlet.
My sentiments exactly. Nobody's getting cancelled on Piers Morgan Uncensored. This is a no-cancel zone.
This is so cheesy.
No opinion will be silenced, no debate will be off limits, no BS will be tolerated, and yes, if it's all right with you, we're going to enjoy ourselves. I couldn't put it better than my late great friend, the Australian cricket genius Shane Warne, one of the world's most iconic sportsmen.
And in this politically correct day and age, we've just got to be a little bit careful, but sometimes just say, get stuffed to the fun police.
Well said, Shane. You heard the man, fun police, get stuffed. My mission statement for this show is...
he thinks he's so brave. I can't. Sorry, my head hit the mic. I can't with this. It's like, he really thinks this is like revolutionary, what he's doing. It's
very simple. I'm going to cancel culture.
Oh, bro, you're going to cancel culture, bro. Fucking Caitlyn Jenner tweeted that when she ran for governor in California and got like 12 votes. That's not original. He probably heard that somewhere else first. I've heard that a million times already. He's like, I have a brilliant line. I will cancel culture. Yeah. God damn it.
Joyless societal scourge with those most effective of democracy-preserving weapons. Common sense and truth. And that's the truth, by the way.
Okay. Look, I'm guilty of this in the past, and I will own that. But this idea of like, I'm just trying to give people common sense. It's like everybody thinks they have common sense. There's not a single person on the planet who's like, I lack common sense. That's just a lazy way of saying, like, all my opinions are right, and if you disagree with me, you're wrong, and you're missing the obvious truth. Well, everybody thinks their own beliefs are obvious. Like, again, I'm guilty of this too, because we used to have the secular talk, facts are stubborn things, used to be one of our things, and it's like, you look at that now, and I kind of cringe, because it's like, well, it doesn't matter where somebody falls on the political spectrum. They think they're giving facts. Everybody thinks they're giving facts. Even if people disagree on 100% of shit. One side is like, I'm going to give you the facts, which leads me to believe the things I believe. The other one's like, I'm going to give you the facts, which leads me to believe the things I believe. So for him, homeboy is how old? 50-something years old? And this is the place for common sense and truth. Yes. Oh.
Not your truth, and definitely not Princess Pinocchio's truth. I'll always fight your corner, I'll always have your back. Well, unless you're illiberal liberals who want to wreck anyone with an opinion that you've ruled as offensive. Or cancel crusaders, rewriting history as one great sopping apology, conducting the Banish Inquisition, sailing the internet on your purity purge, stamping your extremist views on the rest of the world with no tolerance for any discussion or debate. Or ideological imperialists waving your digital snitchforks, hounding good men and women out of their...
Ideological imperialists. So we don't get a reference to actual imperialism from the brave truth teller. We get a reference to ideological imperialism, which is just his 18th way of saying the big bad social justice warriors who want to censor everybody. 3 minutes and 31 seconds in, and his mission statement is cancel culture bad, wokeness bad, I'm the brave crusading truth teller. Thanks, bro. Real original.
Jobs and reputations because they tweeted something you didn't like. Or hypocrite celebrities pontificating about...
Didn't Piers Morgan storm out of a show, like a morning show in Britain, because the host disagreed with him? Isn't that something that happened? And this is the guy who, like, the woke snowflakes with their sensitive feelings. We need a safe space. You're Piers Morgan.
equality from their massive mansions and constantly preaching one thing while doing the complete opposite themselves. I think you know the type, right, Your Royal Highness? Or trans Trojans engulfing the internet in your flames of rage when women dare to say things like, women exist. Or internet excavators raking over ancient social media profiles in search of fossilised evidence that someone you disagree with wasn't Mother Teresa. Or prevaricating politicians who lie, cheat, break the law and blunder without accepting accountability. Or vegan virtue signalers who want to make mincemeat out of people like me for eating steak, without seeing the irony. The one...
Nothing on wages, nothing on income or wealth inequality, nothing on oligarchy, corruption, corporatocracy, nothing on war, nothing on climate change. But we have a reference to vegans. You brave, brave man. You're so brave. You're really going after those power centers, aren't you? Big vegan is the problem in the country. Jesus Christ.
Common trait of all these people is insufferable self-righteousness. They don't...
Insufferable self-righteousness. In the midst of the most insufferably self-righteous rant I've ever heard in my entire life, and I don't even think it's close. This is the most pompous, arrogant, self-righteous shit I've ever heard. Now, Piers, in case you happen to see this, I'm not offended. I don't need a safe space. I'm just engaging with your ideas and your presentation. This is the most self-righteous thing I've ever heard. And he's like, self-righteousness is bad. But it doesn't count when you do it. Because you're Piers Morgan and you're the one brave truth teller. I know.
Don't just think they're right. They know they're right. And anyone who says otherwise must be destroyed. Well, I've got some breaking news for you tonight. Nobody's right all the time. Not even me, although my record is admittedly better than most.
No, it's not.
It's okay to be wrong. It's all right to evolve your opinions when facts change. Whether you live in Britain, America, or Australia, it's time we went back to being real democracies. Silencing, censoring, no platforming, and cancelling people who disagree with you isn't democratic or liberal. It's actually a form of modern-day fascism, which, of course, they profess to hate.
Just call it authoritarianism. I mean, look, I'm not going to be a super stickler for the definitions here. I understand what he's trying to say. But yes, censorship, banning, deplatforming, all those things are authoritarian. It's not fascist. Fascism is literally part of the definition of fascism is that it's right-wing. So that's an authoritarian version of right-wing politics. There is such a thing as authoritarian left politics. That's a thing that exists. It's real, okay? But that's not fascism. Don't, whatever.
I've always loudly and proudly stood up for civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, and trans rights. I always will. I believe in fairness and equality for everybody. But that hasn't stopped the woke brigade branding me racist, sexist, homophobic, and transphobic.
I'm not branding Piers Morgan any of those things. I'm branding him smug, annoying, self-righteous, and he thinks he's way more intelligent than he is. That's what I'm accusing Piers Morgan of. That, super smug and pompous and stale. All these ideas are stale. Again, you could have written this in 2014 and posted it on YouTube. This is like a Gamergate-style rant from 2014. And he thinks, in his new multi-million-dollar show, I'm going to say the original things, bro.
And that's some of the nicer things they call me. All abusively spewed from people with that disingenuous be kind hashtag in their Twitter bios. There's nothing kind about these awful people. Not any room...
See, now this is what I'm talking... So they're awful people. They're awful people. Look, if you actually are going to engage honestly with people, this is an old school thing, but I'll point it out because I think it's true. there's straw manning somebody's beliefs, and then there's steel manning somebody's beliefs. And to steel man them is to take their ideas seriously. So let me give the best interpretation of your position that I possibly could, and then potentially disagree with it. That's what honest people do. And that's what happens in interesting conversations, by the way. That's why when people disagree and they treat each other seriously, people love it. People enjoy it. People like dive headfirst into that. Audiences really respect that. You have people who disagree massively, but they have a productive back and forth in conversation. But in the process of doing that, you have to steel man their ideas, and they need to steel man your ideas. This whole rant, there's no steel manning at all. Everything is like smug, glib, flippant, dismissive, like anybody who disagrees with me is an idiot, and they're censorious, and it's like, if you want to do the thing that you pretend you're in favor of, you should actually take the dissenting idea seriously. Like, look, I'm against censorship, and I'm against authoritarianism, but if I'm going to engage with somebody who has those ideas, I'm going to try to see it from their perspective, craft the best argument from their position, and then respond to that, because that's what intellectual honesty is. But he's not doing that, as he pretends like he does that. He's just on his soapbox.
The logical reason in their perverse world of liberal authoritarianism. These are dangerous times for democracies built on free speech. We've regressed thousands of years back to the days when warring tribes of people who looked the same, sounded the same, dressed the same, and thought the same, marched around, spears out, baying for the blood of anyone remotely different to themselves. And I've reached a very unfortunate conclusion. The world's gone nuts! I mean, it has, right? With statues of Churchill.
Okay, the world's gone nuts. Again, look at the list he gives you. Look at the things he uses as evidence that the world's gone nuts.
Mandela and Gandhi all have to be boarded up in London's Parliament Square because woke imbeciles might trash them for being problematic.
Might? So they didn't do it. Nobody did it. They might lead to that? But wait a second, if it didn't happen, then how is this the first thing on your list of the world's gone nuts? Now, by the way, if it does happen, then yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy. But does it make the list of the top 10 things that are nuts? No. Because there are really, really systemic, serious problems with the way the system functions. And he's touched on fully none of them.
When tall, powerful, formerly male trans athletes are smashing records in women's sport.
Look, this issue is absolutely debatable, right? There's a lot to be said about the issue of trans women in sports. That's a conversation that we're going to have to work through as a society and come to some sort of an agreement, some sort of an understanding, or whatever. But on his list of the world's gone nuts, he's bringing up this issue. When was the last time before this that you ever heard any conservative under any situation talk about women's college sports? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Again, this culture war, that's all he's got. That's all he's got.
But women are called birthing people when Snow White's prince is a sexual predator because for that kiss he didn't ask for consent. And when Mr. Potato Head has had his actual nuts removed. Night after night, I'll highlight this nonsense for what it is.
Everything in his world's gone mad list is all culture war tripe. It's all nonsense. Do you really want to have a conversation about the world going mad? Because I'm going to bring up the same facts that's like in the standard Kyle list of things I bring up that all of you have memorized 1,000 times over by now because I say it so much. Here's what's the world going mad. The report coming out before COVID that found 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Half of workers in this country making $30,000 a year or less. That's the world going mad. Billionaires making trillions of dollars more during the pandemic. Trillions with a T more during the pandemic as everybody else stagnates. The world going mad is 45,000 Americans dying every year because they don't have access to basic health care. 30 million Americans not having health insurance. That's the world going mad. The world going mad is the rampant, systemic, institutional corruption, which makes it so that Congress has like an 18% approval rating, and all they do is serve billionaires and oligarchs in corporate America as they pass laws that screw working people. The world going mad is the minimum wage not even being a living wage. If you work full time, you don't make enough money to survive. That's the world going mad. The world going mad is the 87th climate change report coming out that's like, hey man, we really got to do something, or it's going to be absolutely devastating and cataclysmic and apocalyptic, and not only are you going to have sea level rise, you're going to have wars over water, you're going to have the Middle East be uninhabitable. We should probably move to green and renewable technology, because if we don't do that, we're basically asking for whatever's coming next. That's the world going mad. We sit there and we have culture war disagreements as that shit is going on. That's the world going mad. And I haven't even touched on, you know, the global statistics. Well, what are the like from Oxfam, the world's richest, like, I don't even know how many people, 80 people have more wealth than the bottom 50% combined. Like, this is the world going mad. Every single thing on his list is just the culture war du jour nonsense. Every single thing on his list. The culture war has rotted so many brains. It's astonishing that they really think these are the things that we should talk about 24/7. Jesus Christ.
Nonsense. Because the world has gone nuts, and not even a global pandemic or a war in Europe seems to have snapped us all out of it. So let Piers Morgan...
6 minutes and 41 seconds in a 7-minute clip, we got the first reference to war. That should have led the list, right? Like, hey, there's a war in Ukraine. Now, by the way, no mention of Yemen, where Saudi Arabia is currently carrying out a genocide with U.S. and Western backing. No mention of Yemen, because we're responsible for that one. But sure, when Russia's responsible, okay, yeah, let's talk about that. Now, by the way, yes, that belongs on the list, and Russia is doing an imperialist invasion. Make no mistake about it. But none of the things that implicate us are on the list, of course. Of course. The first mention of a real issue, like an overarching, serious issue in the mission statement of the show, is at the very end of it.
Uncensored be your island of sanity, your department of common sense, the last refuge of the slammed. We're global, we're going to annoy all the right people, and I'm uncensored.
We're going to annoy all the right people. See, that's the thing right there. Is this honest engagement in the marketplace of ideas? No. We're going to do culture war stuff 24/7, and we're going to annoy the right people. There are too many commentators, bro. There really are. Every single one of them. And I'm probably guilty of this too. I should shove my ball sack in a waffle iron if I ever sound like he does. You know, the overly self-righteous, indignant, just not engaging with ideas honestly, annoying, shrill. I can't. He thinks he just delivered the most brave, iconoclastic, last truth teller standing speech of all time. And it was just recycled 2014 Gamergate era, way too online politics. Enough. It's so stale. It's so boring. It's so obnoxious. I don't care, dude. I don't care that as you engage in the culture war 24/7, you pretend like I'm no guy who's talking about the serious issues. No, you're not. And again, if you were really speaking truth to power, you wouldn't be on, like, Rupert Murdoch's new outlet. Because anybody who seriously questions power is not going to get the backing of Rupert Murdoch. And that should be obvious to everybody. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.